Hello and welcome. My name is Tavishima Ayede. I'm the host of the podcast and I'm making today's recording at home, so expect to hear some noise in the background. Now, the goal of this podcast is solving business problems. So if you're struggling to get customers or you have issues with marketing, you're trying to boost your side hustle, then this is the show for you. So subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, or any player of your choice. And if you'd love to connect, then call, SMS, or WhatsApp me on 080 64662140. Today on the podcast is going to be another diary session for my solar team. Well, not my team anyway, the team for my client that is involved in solar sales, and that is Rudolph, Elsie, and Sheung. And I just realized that I haven't done a diary session in a while, and there is one that was a follow-up to spin selling that I figured let me just hop on real quick and do that today. For those of you who've been listening for the last 2-3 weeks, you already know what spin selling means. If this is your first time of listening to the podcast, then spin selling does not mean you're trying to bamboozle people. It's not spin like in the American sense of spin, but rather as an acronym that just means situation, problem, implication, and need payoff. Again, SPIN, SPIN. It's an acronym. Situation, problem, implication, and then need payoff. So it's a framework for having conversations with potential customers because we're trying to figure out, is this somebody worth talking to? Do they have a problem? Do they have bar? Is this a serious customer? Is this a worker pass? Should I waste my time? Should I engage more? And so Spin just offers you a framework for the kinds of questions that you should be asking people and the kinds of issues that you should be discussing with potential customers. Because the problem with a lot of us Nigerian business people is somebody meets us, they say, are you free for December 26th? You say, yes, ma'am, I'm free. They say, how much? 250K. You say, 250K, how? I found somebody for 180K. And, before you know it, you guys are locked in that price battle. You want to charge 250K, but, last you collected 160 because you say, at all, that ain't bad pass. And, you now go and do the job and you're angry. Now, the reason why you're always stuck in those situations is because you don't have any framework for guiding the conversation. And spin is one of those things. So when you meet somebody, be asking them questions. What's the situation? What's up? What's going on? Then problem. What's the problem now? Okay, if we can't solve this thing, what's the worst that will happen? Okay, if you solve this thing, this is what you're hoping to achieve from it. So when you have all these kinds of conversations, you now know whether you're with a serious person or not, and how you can direct the conversation. Now, I know that the way I've just described it is a little too flippant, it's a little too loose. So maybe some of you will not truly appreciate what's going on here when we talk about spin. So there's an exercise that I took Sheung, Elsie, and Rudolph through that I want to take you guys through today. And that is, in order to get them to better appreciate the framework and apply it, I said, you know what? We all have AI on our phones. My own preferred is Google Gemini. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm just saying it's the one I prefer because it's already on my phone. It's already on the computer. So why not? So I said, we already have AI now. So let's just use these devices. Let's just use AI. Let's just generate some random spin questions. And then we'll now see how we can make the thing sound natural, sound sweet in our mouth, and see which of them we can use in conversations. And then they said, oh yeah, cool, that we're done with that. So I said, okay, no problem, let's go ahead. So that's what we did. And then that's what we're going to do over here right now. We'll look at some AI generated spin questions and then just try and see how we can make it sound much more natural or conversational. So if this is your first time of, excuse me, if this is your first time of hearing spin, hopefully you'll be able to get one or two ideas about how to be guiding conversations with potential customers. So, let's see. Anyway, so I fired up my phone now. And then I use Google Gemini. That's just my default. I don't use any other one. And like I said, the reason why I use it is just because it's already on my phone. And then it has access to the internet. It's already powered through Google. So, what's the loss? So I just go ahead and I use it. Some of you will ask, what is the best AI tool to use? My own opinion, there is no best AI tool. It depends on what you're trying to do, what you're trying to achieve, the nature of your business. There are some kinds of businesses where all the text-based AI like ChatGPT and Gemini, maybe they're not up to snuff. Maybe you guys need more video generating kind of AI or audio generating kind of AI. So the truth of the matter is, it depends. But don't sit down and be looking for which one is the perfect one. In my own opinion, the best one to use is the one that you find easiest to use, and quite frankly, the one that you've been using the longest, because you're familiar with it. You know its limitations, and the thing has started learning your own communication style, so you'll be able to get good output from it. Anyway, so Gemini, Google Gemini. So now situation questions. Now, remember, as we go through this, that this set of questions were generated for people who are in solar sales. So if you sell solar solutions, solar installations, inverter, batteries, all these sorts of things, then you'll be able to, these questions should be able to adapt to you. But if you're not in solar, just, how do I put it? Take the principle of the question and then apply it now to your own business. So one situation question is, tell me a bit about your current electricity supply here at your home or here at your business. Now, the reason why this is a good situation question is this. Remember that when we are engaging with customers, we want them to be yarning, we want them to be telling story, we want them to be talking freely, because it will achieve two things. Number one, the more they verbally vomit everything that's on their mind, the more we are going to get all the information that we need to close the deal. But then the second thing is, the more people talk, the calmer they feel. It's funny, but honestly, if you're having a conversation with someone and the person talks 80% of the time, for some reason, the person will feel calm with you. That's just how it works. If you're talking to somebody and you want the person to feel calm and you're talking 80% of the time, you can't get the other person to calm down. So you want to build rapport, you want the other person to feel cool, you want the other person to feel all right, you want the other person to feel easy, you want the other person to chill and to relax. Allow them, let them be flowing. That's how we achieve rapport. So that's the two-step process. Number one, we need to get all the information we need so we can close the deal. Number two, we need them to feel all right. So just get them to talk. So when you say, tell me about your electricity supply, and then you keep quiet, they will vomit everything. Yeah, well, we are band A. NEPA is showing us shege. This, that. It's costing like this, it's doing like that. The more they're talking, you who are selling inverter and who are selling solar, you now know how you be packaging the offer in your head. Another question, what's your average monthly electricity bill? That will let you know whether this is somebody dealing with a big problem or not. If somebody is in band A and his monthly electricity bill is, let's say, 450K, and by the way, yes, since they switched us to band A, one guy in our estate, the guy's been crying since that he's spending 450K. But then at night, the guy will be blowing AC. And then I'm wondering, this is rainy season. And you're blowing AC at night. And you're complaining that your bill is 450K. I say, you never do you now. When the thing do you switch off your AC. So yeah, there are some people who are spending 400K, 450K on electricity bill. So that might give you a sense that you are talking to somebody, you're talking to someone who has a big problem and who needs to solve this problem right now. Then let's see, what else? Okay, how often do you experience power outage? That's a good question. What kind of backup are you using? It's nice to know that kind of thing. Does the person have gen? Does the person have inverter? That determines the kind of solutions you're going to recommend. If the person already has gen and you're going to do solar, maybe you might come up with all those, fancy, automatic switching things. So that when NEPA comes, the generator will automatically switch off and then the thing will now switch to NEPA. Since the first time I did a consulting gig with this solar company last year, and I started looking into these things, to be honest, my mind has been blown. I didn't even know that that's possible. That you can have gen, then the moment NEPA comes back, even though you're still in your house, the gen will switch off by itself. The thing will now flip to NEPA. And then, if NEPA cuts out, the thing will automatically move to inverter, as in the changeover just go to change like that. All you're doing is you're just there in your bedroom. And man, I'm tripped. The things that Chinese people have invented, like, man, you guys, I respect you. So What kind of backup power do you have? Then let's see what else. How often do you run your generator every day? Things like that. Just general questions, or something like, are you planning any expansions around your business? So, like when I first did some consulting work for this particular firm last year, one of the for the sales person that I was talking to, one of his regular clients was a woman who owned a laundry. So, if you're talking to somebody like that, it actually is a big question to ask. If she runs a laundromat and she has 21 machines, but she's thinking next month she wants to move from 21 to 36, you as somebody who already provides solar or who is putting together a bid for solar, it would be nice to know that so that you won't go and give them the kind of system that would have been cool for 21 machines, but will now come and F up when it's 36 machines. So those are situation questions. And you can see that situation questions are just focused around trying to figure out, like, okay, what's going on here? What's the situation here? This situation I am entering into now, like, what's the lay of the land? That's all you need to know. Then, problem questions. How will I put it now? Problem questions, you're just trying to figure out, like, how bad the situation is. Because some people don't have problem. Like somebody who lives in a situation where their own is band B or band C and they're receiving power maybe like 16 hours a day. As far as they're concerned, like, well, we're spending 20K a month on NEPA. And, sorry, one moment. Okay, sorry about that. One of my kids was calling me. They needed my attention on something because it's late in the evening here. Then, so I was saying that problem questions now. You're just trying to figure out how bad the situation is because there's some people that actually don't have problem. I mean, problem is relative. So somebody who is in band B who's receiving 16 hours because band A is supposed to be 20 hours of light every day, but then they pay 3 times the cost of those people in band B. Now band B, they're receiving 16 hours. So somebody who's receiving 16 hours of light every day and they're only paying 20K or 30K a month in electricity bill, if you're talking to them, quite frankly, some of them, they feel as if, well, there's no problem. The deep freezer is too cold. The fridge is too cold. It's okay. It's okay. That one, they're not really feeling any problem. But people in band A that are paying 450K for NEPA, I mean, of course, depending on your setup, that kind of person, they're feeling a huge problem. And then maybe people in the lower bands, maybe like band E, for instance, I don't know how many hours they're supposed to receive, but those people, I'm sure they're suffering. If there's band F and band G, I know those people I feel sorry for them. So the people at the bottom, the problem will be this light, we're not even seeing it. Then the people at the top, the problem is we are seeing the light, but we're paying through our nose for this light. Those are the people that have problems, and then you'll be able to make your sales pitch. So it's really, really important to figure out, is this even a problem worth solving? Because I'll give you guys one example. I've spoken about it before, but not too many times. It was the first time I was faced with an expatriate couple. Natively, they're based out of New York, Abby. The babe is from New York, guy is from Washington, but they're doing expat work in Niger. Expat as per expatriate. Expatriate workers in Niger, and they were going to get married. And so me and my video guy at the time, were talking to them, trying to close this deal. And I was beginning to feel like, now wow, like these people, they don't have issue. You know how Igbo people can be now. So if it's Nigerian bride, Nigerian bride is excited. She's all like, my dress, my this, my video, my that. We'll slay, we'll, Instagram. Like, there's a way it shacks Nigerian brides. You understand? But then also, apart from them being Oyibo, they're also on the mature side. Let me put it that way. Like they're all small. If you understand me, it's not as if it was a small guy and a small girl. So the thing not to shack them like that. So I just asked them general questions around other aspects of the wedding. Oh, they say, that they will go to court, they will do registry, then the minister will come and then join them at a private setting. Then they will go home and then they will have drinks and then they'll, blah, blah, blah. Some kind low key, very low key something. And then I now ask them, okay, so like for photography and video, what's your plan? They say, oh, doesn't have to be anything fancy. A friend with an iPhone, that should be enough to cover our special moment. And I kept asking more questions and asking more questions. And honestly, as far as they were concerned, their wedding day, that's how the thing was going to be. Now, that kind of problem, if you're a wedding photographer, don't waste your time. If you're a wedding video person, don't waste your time. Because that kind of person, they don't have problem. If you're following them and following them and follow up and follow up and follow up, excuse me, you are wasting your time. So the guy that provides video for me at the time that we used to partner up, Shagun quickly cut himself out from the situation. He exited. He didn't used to call the babe anymore because there's no need. But me, I was curious. I wanted to see how this thing will end. So at least I was still in touch with the bride, and eventually they got married. And like joke, all the footage they had was mobile phone footage. I said, wow. Anyway, the long and short of the story is just that there's some people that don't have problem. And if this person doesn't have a problem, there's no point in you spending time with them, following up, relationship building, all these sorts of things. They'll never buy. Excuse me, they'll never buy. The only way that you know that is if you ask situation questions and then problem questions. So Shego and I were able to exit that situation sharp because we asked the relevant questions. What's the plan for the wedding day? Blah, blah, blah. When you start hearing some low-key something, especially when you're dealing with mature people, you now know that this is not the kind of person that will spend money on photo or spend money on video. The only thing they spent money on was food, actually, because for them, cuisine was important. So they wanted a blending of, Niger cuisine plus, something cuisine. So it's only food that they ended up spending money on. So problem questions, really, really important. You need to ask them. Sorry about that. Sorry, yesterday was a radio show. Then I've been doing coaching sessions every day, back to back. So my voice is beginning to suffer. I need to go and learn voice care routines. So where was I? Yeah, problem questions. So you'll be asking them now. For those of you who do solar, you'll be asking them how this thing is affecting their daily life, basically. So like when I first started with this solar company, I told one of the guys I was talking to that, you're talking to your guy about systems and everything, and he referred you to Madame, and you didn't ask Madame whether deep freezer has spoiled. I say no, that's a mess up. It's one of the things you should ask whether there's been any damage, with the NEPA situation. Eventually, he asked and found out that it's not deep freezer. I think it was fridge and one or two other something. But you ask. That is how you figure out who has a big problem. And then when you're now talking to the husband again, you now know what you can key on to now get this sale done. Now, Madam told me that people have damaged like two fridges, blah blah blah. I'm sure that the cost of repairs must have been like this, must have been like that. Okay, because of that, when we install this system, this is how we'll do safeguard, we'll do this, So you've been asking problem questions. So all those questions around generator noise, fuel cost, maintenance, equipment that has been damaged, maybe discomfort, like if they have a young baby at home. That's why I got my own system, because wifey was pregnant, we were expecting a baby, and my wife was always saying there's no breeze, that she's hot. So I said, well, I can't wait until the baby is here. So I bought our own system. Then all these kinds of questions around fluctuation, equipment damage, comfort, all those things, those are problem questions. Because the more the people talk, the more they vomit, you now know, okay, this person has a problem, this person doesn't have a problem. So back to this example, if you're talking to somebody who lives in Bambi, he's receiving 16 hours of light, he's only paying 30,000 naira, 30,000 naira a month for electricity bill. The children have grown up and they've left the house. Let's see, what else? No equipment has been damaged because they have stabilizer everywhere. Before you get that person to drop money, it's, it will be hard. On paper, it doesn't look like that's a good candidate. Maybe the person is just curious. Maybe that's why they reach out to you. They're just curious, just doing the mathematics just to see, is this thing workable or not? Then implication questions. So we came up with some implication questions. Implication questions, how will I describe it now? Okay, implication questions. You're now trying to figure out, how will I put it now? It's just another way of probing deeper to figure out how bad the problem is. Like, what's the implication of all these issues? You're trying to quantify it. You're trying to get the cost to the business. Like one of the salespeople, he's trying to get some deals with these people who run betting agencies, like Bet Niger and all these places. So I told him, for him, a good implication question is, okay, every single time power trips off and your servers, switch off, like, is it costing you guys anything in data security, or be in lost opportunity to place bets, stuff like that. But you ask it in a very conversational way, you know. Now, you ask questions, why are they thinking of solar? This is the company, this is what they do, blah, blah, blah. Or so they NEPA took, like, they say, Kai, sorry, hope you people didn't lose data in that thing. Say, well, my brother, we only lost data on one server, but, we're able to catch and everything, blah, blah, blah. So, really, you lost data on one server? How come? So, how are you able to cope? I'm sure some people are not able to bet then, and stuff like that. So, but the thing is, the more you ask these kinds of questions, the other person self will even begin to see and begin to quantify and know that, you know what, this thing actually is a serious issue, and I should be taking notice of these kind of things. So you should be asking them those kinds of questions. The cost of constantly buying fuel all the time, whether inconsistent power is affecting their deadlines. Let's see what else. Every single time that power fails, whether it's affecting critical equipment or critical data. There's one of my family friends who wanted to, well, not my family friends, as per, it's more like Momsy's church person who started an ethanol factory a long time ago, supposed to be Africa's first ethanol factory. But the thing ended up shutting down anyway. And this was one of the problems. Every single time NEPA will take light, you have to reboot the whole system again. And then, what again? I can't remember. I think between NEPA and backup generators and stuff like that. Anyway, anyhow, power costs turned out to be more expensive than they thought. And then, of course, the constant, switch over, changeover led to equipment damage. And so the whole thing collapsed. But basically, we should be asking them implication questions. So anyway, 20 minutes. So let me just bring it to a close here. I don't want to be doing all those 30, 1 hour podcast episodes again. So if this is your first time of listening to the podcast, I hope you have gotten enough out of this to understand what spin selling is and how you can use spin to have conversations with people, to be able to figure out who has a problem, who doesn't have a problem, who should I be talking to, who should I not be talking to, how long should I be talking with somebody. If I'm following up with them, should I be close marking them, or should I space it? Maybe I should be giving them like 2 months before I call them. It's when you have these sorts of conversations that you'll be able to know who to talk to and how to pace yourself. And if you need some more, I think if you check last week, there's a podcast episode that actually the title also has spin selling in it. So go listen to that one. I think it should be helpful. And I think with that, I'm not going to talk about any other spin related thing. But I guess the main thing I wanted to let you guys know is this. We have these things in our pockets, these mobile phones. They are powerful devices. Powerful. These AI tools are already here. We can use these things for ideas all the time. Please use it wisely to grow your business. If you hear about any single framework I'm talking about on this business and you don't understand, just remove your phone, open your ChatGPT, and say, I'm a fashion designer in Nigeria, whatever. I was listening to a podcast by Tarishima Ayede on so, and the young man mentioned the so spelling qualification framework that can be used to improve my sales. Tell me more about this framework. Send. ChatGPT will now try and explain it to you. What is this? All this thing that this guy is saying. If you're confused, you say, I'm confused about this. ChatGPT will now try and explain again. If you can't think of example, you say, please, all these examples you are giving, they sound like they are for American businesses. Give me examples for Nigerian businesses like my own. The thing will now give you. So this, your phone, is not just for Netflix. Believe me, I love Netflix and I like to play chess. It's not just for Netflix and it's not just for games. Be using this thing for your business as well. These AI tools are powerful. So be using them. Some of you will say, if I'm talking like this, am I not reducing my business? Actually, I'm not at all. I even like it when people go and use ChatGPT and Gemini and all those things. Because at least when they come now and we now start having business conversations, our conversations are more focused because they have even been educated small. They've elevated themselves small. We now have even more productive conversations. So I'm not one of those people who is going to be afraid and say, ChatGPT, it will take away my consulting business. I don't think so. It will help my consulting business. People will go, they'll get educated, they will learn what they need to learn. They will now see where the deficiency is. My value will even shine all the more. And besides, I keep saying on the podcast, nowadays that information is free. It's readily available. In my own opinion, information is free. Application is what you pay for. So people come to me and they pay me not because they don't have the info. Everybody has the info. If you have a laptop and you have phone, the thing is connected to the internet, you have the information already. So when you come to me, it's not information you're paying for, it's application. My job is making sure that, okay, this is the problem. We know what the problem is. Let's stay focused, or at least the game plan. Now, so we go execute. And let's continue until we start seeing results. So, use AI tools. Please, use them. Use them. Use it. Powerful tools. If you're in the consulting business and you're afraid that AI is going to take your job, relax. AI is not taking our market at all. It's making things better for us. The more educated customers we talk to, the better. So that's it, and that's all. Remember, if you'd love to connect, you can call, SMS, or WhatsApp me on 080-6466-2140. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll catch you next time, same place, in your headphones or in your speakers.